I was really guided to this bright yellow Merrill Tarot today. So we're going to look into some messages from the Hollywood's High Priestess herself, right? That's what it claims on this deck. So I thought we'd have a little fun with this. All right, we're going to ask our angels, saints, ancestors, and guides into our space to provide love and divine messages. For our highest and greatest good, we're surrounded in divine white light, so it is and so will be. All right. Fantastic. Let me just do a quick shuffle of this. So there's a story playing out, I guess. And who better to tell it than Meryl Streep? Right? That's like so legend to have like a tarot deck about herself. Okay. All right, let's see what we got. Thank you, Spirit. Do tell. What is the dirt? What's the advice? Where are we going with this? Four of Wands. Wow, this is about... It says, Mamma Mia. Remember that musical? Here we go again. Four of Wands. Look at this. The Lovers. Aw, this is The Bridges of Madison County, if you guys have ever seen that movie. Francesca Johnson. Interesting. I love like the grooviness of this. Like, I love the bell bottoms. I love the awesome boots. Like, it's poppin'. It's poppin', whatever this is. I feel like you're poppin'. All right, or you're gonna be. Time to celebrate. Time to like get out, have fun. I feel like this is like enjoying the festivities, getting out, meeting people, like mingling. Okay, Four of Wands, 4th of July weekend. Okay. Look at this, Three of Cups. The prom. Look at this. I don't know if you guys remember that, the prom. Wow, Three of Cups is celebrating. Interesting. It's like celebrating with your inner circle and understanding like multi-generational too. It also represents like the the maiden, the mother, the crone, and the fates. And then we also have Five of Wands. So maybe there's a bit of conflict here or a bit of angst. Maybe it's about being careful not to pick sides in a situation. Maybe it doesn't really involve you. Okay, so there could be some conflict here. And it could be playing out this weekend, and it could have something to do with like some sort of like going out and partying. So just kind of be mindful, I guess. What's this Five of Wands? What is this? The Moon. Death Becomes Her is the movie. And I feel like something's becoming illuminated. Okay, I feel like, or somebody's becoming illuminated. Maybe that's why these two are fighting, is because someone's being seen in their true light, regardless of what they say and do. That's what I'm getting. I feel like someone is celebrating and having this like glow up energy, or this could happen while somebody's out. What's this? I feel like somebody's in the limelight and there's been a lot to try to prevent that. Or there's some sort of opposition of it. There's a Hanged Man here. So there could be someone like hung up. This is like the Measure to Measure is the show. Hanged Man, I feel like there's a new perspective gained here. Okay, and it could be, again, like illumination, more illumination. So maybe there's some exposure, maybe truths coming to light, people, receiving some sort of like aha, enlightenment, or they're finally seeing something clearly. But the moon also talks about fear. And so there's a lot of fear when it comes to whatever like conflict this is, or the opposites, or at, you know, some sort of opposition here. I feel like there's something that feels like unfair. Like one person has something over the other, right? There's 3 on this side, 2 on that side. So I feel like there's some sort of like feeling like something didn't shake out, or something is unfair. Okay. I feel like somebody didn't deserve what they were put through. Okay, but I feel like there's something here. Page of Wands in the reverse. And then we have the Knight of Wands in the upright and the 7 of Wands. Yeah. I feel like there's bad news. I feel like somebody is tied up in a situation that they cannot find or fight themselves out of. So it's kind of like they are having to deal with what they currently have done. I feel like they're being held accountable for something. Okay? I feel like I feel like somebody could be like dealing with some sort of lockup situation, or feeling trapped in a situation, unable to move, like having to wait, having to watch. Someone may have to watch someone else's like, wow, ability to kind of like adapt, overcome, like outmatch, right? And then there's the 7 of Wands. So this is somebody who, you know, is very well equipped to defend themselves, and will if need be. So I feel like somebody may have, I don't know, I feel like somebody may have like got themselves in trouble trying to come after somebody, or trying to like create some sort of negativity. Ace of Wands here. So, I mean, regardless of the attempts, I feel like the end, you know, the massive epiphany or creative idea here is kind of like what was a catalyst for this. I feel like something amazing was created or attuned, I'm getting. So you could be like an energy healer. So this is kind of like a gift. It could very much be like your spiritual gifts and the ability to kind of like create magic here in whatever way that is. So I feel like whatever was experienced was so that someone could step into their power and their magic. So not like, even though sometimes we look at situations and we're like, oh, you know, I wish I didn't go through that. But there's always like the bright side to something. And I feel like you're the bright side kind of person. And I feel like that might irritate people. Because, you know, maybe they don't like this yellow color, right? They may be a bit bitter and resentful and operating from a shadow. We do have the moon here, so there's a lot of shadow energy. I feel like somebody tried to shade you, okay? As much as possible. Like, no joke. Like, they tried so hard to kind of like dull your shine. I feel like there might have been a lot of like, you know, outside challenges here. You know, I feel like maybe there's somebody here that likes to be the center of the show and didn't like the fact that like you outshine them, and so that it created some sort of like opposition here. Okay, I feel like it could have happened like you may have been at a party and they saw you at the party, and from there was this like needing to outshine someone else is what I'm getting. And since then, they have been at odds and creating some sort of like, you know, shadowy conflict that needs to kind of like come to the light, because I feel like it was all done like behind the back, in the shadows, like, yeah. Maybe someone's hung up now as a result of this. The Hanged Man. Yeah, I mean, sacrifice energy, surrendering energy, having to see things, like, this is like the divine is like, hold on. You just sit down, relax, you're not creating anything, right? We're having to clean up your mess right now. Yeah, I feel like this is a very messy situation. The next two cards I have is the Queen of Pentacles. And so she's, you know, very stable, secure, grounded, like very well equipped to take care of whatever she's involved in, whether it's work, home, family, just balancing all the things, you know, with the star, and having a strong connection even to like spirit. Okay. Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like very balanced energy, very grounded energy. You know, I'm getting like, and it says on here prime, right? Prime. And then we have the star card. This is about like defending your life. Okay. And I feel like there might have been attempts at it at some point in time, or at least to dull your shine. Remember how I was like, I'm feeling like this whole trying to dull the shine. And I'm getting that, like, you know, they attempted it, that's for sure, quite often. I'm getting like, that's okay though, because whatever you have, it was built from like the ground up, and it's not something that, like, you know, you're going to lose a grip of anytime soon. I feel like this is, again, like having some sort of like balance in things. Okay, and not overdoing it, not overpouring, not like having to really assess, you know, where this energy is and where it's needed. You may need to kind of like pour your energy out or in or receive, give and receive, in specific locations. Okay, because she's like at a fountain. I mean, it's not often that, you know, you would be in that kind of environment per se. But anyways, I feel like this is kind of something that is bringing to my attention like a bit of like traveling to places and connecting with the energy and kind of processing the energy. So this would be like a form of healing, energy healing, or some like Reiki or channeling, maybe even like transmuting, okay, programming, okay. Like you very much could be a, you might unlock things, and if you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say about that. All right, what's our last card here? Fingers. This was cool how you told the story. I love it. Ooh. Henry V, the Knight of Swords. Yeah. The Knight of Swords. The music of regret. The woman, the music of regret, is known as the Knight of Pentacles. And then we have Catherine, Henry V, Knight of Swords. Interesting. Four of Cups. I feel like maybe somebody wants to make some sort of like, I feel like something might be coming that you don't expect, but it could come through like an acquaintance. I feel like it could be a solid offer. It could be something like tangible here. Probably when you're not paying attention with the Four of Cups and you're like, oh, like I'm over it already. It's hot out here. You know? And then all of a sudden, boom, right? There's this like, hey, how you doing? Need a ride? Right? Like something like that. I don't know. It just seems kind of interesting. There's communication here. There's also like a need to kind of like be on guard, be on point, like pay attention, keep your wits about you, you know, assess things, whether, you know, there is a need to respond or not. This is kind of like giving and receiving communication. So you could be sharing communication. You could be someone who has some sort of like presence, right? You hold some sort of presence, and people listen to what you have to say. And there is something that you're meant to do here, and I feel like it runs deep. You're a very like deeply rooted person in the sense of like the things you talk about are deep. Like you don't like the superficial stuff. And so, you know, there may have been a bit of that up here. I feel like there was someone who was very jealous and envious, I'm getting, and had to be the center of attention, and maybe wasn't, or tried to like, you know, like social climb. I'm getting like social climb, or like challenges people for the sake of like their own ego. There's some of that. I know that doesn't typically resonate with the Three of Cups, but I feel like that's the energy I'm getting intuitively, and also through like some of the imagery on the cards, and just what I'm seeing is for real. This is kind of like, you know, someone seeing that there is this like almost like soul tribe energy here. Like there might have been a group that was really solid, and then they had so much fun together, and then like there was somebody who felt like they had to like, you know, be it, and then maybe there was, you know, a need to kind of like remove oneself from such group and such person because of this envy. If you look at this picture, it feels like a bit like, you know, and then there's this conflict here, this chaos, this drama, you know? So I'm getting like, there could have been some sort of like good times, right? But then maybe things twisted, or someone maybe let things get to their head, or just didn't like the competition. Someone saw you as competition. And I feel like it's created quite a bit of strife in their life. All right? And that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. I feel like you stood your ground, though. I feel like you know, you have every right to protect yourself. I feel like you focused on what you want to create for yourself in the future. I feel like you're very practical. You're very down to earth. You're responsible, respectable. And you're really creative. So you literally can create something out of nothing. And I feel like you did, or you're going to. I feel like you're very like, you're very passionate too. I feel like this also talks about your purpose, and how like your purpose from spirit is like kind of like coming to fruition in the physical realm. So it's like manifesting. Okay. And this is about like integration too, like bringing some balance here. It's remaining like hopeful and having a bit of like giving back, right? Receiving, it's like receiving from the divine and being able to give back in some sort of way. And I'm getting like the giving back could be like some sort of form of communication, some sort of creative outlet. Like maybe you like Instagram and you post on Instagram. I feel like look at this. I feel like you might, you know, be a budding star, maybe like a podcaster or an author, a speaker, someone who's like putting themselves out there, trying to master some sort of skill. So you could be learning, okay? You could be learning something new and developing it. So this could be like calling to research and see if there's something to try on for size. You don't know unless you try, right? Like you're not going to be perfect out of the gate. Like sometimes it takes a bit of like failing to get it right? And eventually, you know, you pick up where you left off, and it's like, oh, I figured it out. Like this is like a pattern, right? Synchronicity. This is a lot of synchronicity too. And then we have the Knight of Cups. So I feel like there is something that is really going to be of interest. And I feel like it's something you're going to love. I don't know that you see it coming. I feel like it might come in a way that you don't recognize because of the mask, right? Because of the helmet. So it may come through somebody you do not know. Okay. But you may know them from spirit. You may not know them in the physical is what I'm getting. Okay. Because this is kind of like, you know, connecting in your hearts, right? So this would be like, oh, you know, like I feel some sort of way about somebody, but I can't quite place it. And then all of a sudden, dun, 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 here is this oath, this offer, this, you know, communication, or, you know, hey, let's meet up, or I have something for you. It could be like a contract. And then we have the Knight of Cups. So a lot of Knight energy. So the Knights are like they're taking action, like they're making things kind of move around, and you know, they're making it happen here. Two of Wands. Look at this. Yeah, look at this card. It says Iraq. Two of Wands. Interesting. Uncommon Women and Others. Layla is the movie. This one's Brooke Reynolds, Still of the Night. That's the Knight of the Cups. And then this one's Marvin's Room. I don't know if you know any of these movies. This one is The Taming of the Shrew. So all these movies Meryl Streep was in. The Music of Regret. Wow. So you could be very much like traveling. And I feel like, you know, or just like doing research, looking into things. I feel like there could be, yeah, a series of unfortunate events. Yeah, I feel like there could be a series of unfortunate events. And then there's the Ace of Swords. Yeah, I feel like you're going to receive the clarity soon and the specific guidance as to kind of like how to navigate this. But I feel like the most important thing is for you to, like, you know, being aware and present in the moment. Very important. And pay attention to what you pick up and receive. Okay, try not to get too distracted that your horse runs away from you. So I feel like there could be like fast, either needing to take fast movement or make a decision quickly. I feel like that's also for some of you guys. So we're gonna put this deck back. It was cute. Thank you. I like some of those pictures. Very nice. Let's see. Let's get some more specifics here. I'm gonna use the Moonology deck. Okay. Let's see. Advice here. A time to give rather than take. Yeah. Working through your fears. Take time to breathe out. Okay. Don't let your past hold you back. Believe in the impossible. Your commitment is being tested. Okay. You are good enough. The energy is gaining momentum. Okay, things are picking up quickly. That's that Knight of Swords energy. Okay. So it's like you're going to have to like ride the wave, but there is some very specific decisions you're going to have to make, and you're going to have to, you know, really go within. Okay. So practice listening to yourself, practice listening to asking questions and receiving responses back from your higher self. So start practicing those things so that you can strengthen those muscles, okay? There's numerous ways in which you can practice your communication, right? Your spirit communication as well as your higher self communication. You can use cards, you can use pendulums, you can use muscle movement. You can say, okay, body, you can sit up straight and say, hey, okay, body, show me yes. And then depending on which way you lean, right, is your yes. And then you say, okay, body, show me no, and have it show you no. And use that, ask questions that are yes or no answers, and use your own body as like the pendulum to receive communication regarding a yes or no question. So let's start practicing with some of these. I mean, if you can use a necklace sometimes. Pendulums are great, okay? They tune into the energy, and you can ask your pendulum, you know, if there's, can you show me a yes? Okay, it's going around and around and around to the left. Okay, so then I'm going to stop it and I'm going to say, can you show me what no looks like? Okay, no is back and forth. So now I have a way of indicating a yes from a no as I ask very specific questions, okay? So have some fun. Start using some of these things to heighten and strengthen those ESP muscles, okay? I'll see you guys in the next reading. Take care now.